just then was beautiful.
Oh, that was close. Oh, there you go.
Take a bow. Wow, that was brilliant play.
Can't take your eyes off it. Oh, they're playing it on the edge.
Goodness gracious me, my heart.
This is just the first of 3 tests. Every one of these, please let it be like this.
Yesterday's match had everything, all square after the fourth quarter and a win for England in extra time. And less than 24 hours later, we are back in Cape Town to do it all over again. Welcome to live coverage of the second test between South Africa and England, live from the Belleville Velodrome in Cape Town. Good afternoon. Today marks the 60th time these two teams have met, and although England lead that head-to-head by quite a margin, on yesterday's evidence they certainly can't rest on their laurels. It was a baptism of fire for new coaches Jess Thirlby and Dorette Badenhorst. Will they be adapting different tactics today? We could be in for fireworks. Once again, we are spoiled with our lineup in the studio. 2 of this summer's bronze medal winning roses are here. Defender Ebony Osoro-Brown has taken a well-earned break from competition, and coach Tracy Neville has taken a break from winning about an award a day. It seems her mantelpiece is packed. Welcome to you both, ladies. Caroline Barker is still in Cape Town, bringing us all the news and hot gossip. And we just can't keep Tamsin Greenway away. She joins us once again via Skype. What a team we've got in the netball studio today. This is what's coming up. We've got 2 matches left of this series. The first centre pass of this second game is in just under half an hour's time at 1 o'clock. Of course, England victorious yesterday. Last night it was thrilling. And our third game is slightly earlier time. Set your alarms for tomorrow morning, Sunday, 10:30 a.m. South Africa, England. Ebony, Tracy, great to see you both. I'm going to start with you, Ebony. You took a little break from netball, from international netball. I know you're back training with Bath now. How is it being back training? Is it pretty tough?
It has been an uphill climb, but one that I'm really enjoying. I think it was so important to have a bit of a mental refresh and a bit of a break after World Cup. But it's great to be back in amongst the girls, training, and yeah, looking forward to the season ahead.
Just want to highlight how talented you are. Qualified solicitor, specialising in commercial litigation, which I know very little about. So if I need any advice, I know who to come to. We've got lots to talk about in terms of England yesterday and today. Tracy, great to see you. How is the pregnancy going? All good?
I'm actually glad to be talking about netball for a change. I think pregnancy rules my life at the moment. But yeah, pregnancy's going well. A few challenges along the way, but we're really excited for the next 3 months.
Oh, it's catching, isn't it? We've got Tamsin, you. My goodness, who's next?
Don't drink the water.
Now, listen, girls, I last saw you at the Netball World Cup in Liverpool in July. What are your memories from that, Ebony? I'm sure all smiles thinking about it. It was such a fantastic World Cup.
It was absolutely incredible. And I think just to have the privilege to play in that competition and see the fans and the girls, and it was absolutely awesome to play in it. I think we're disappointed we couldn't come away with gold, but in terms of where netball is in this country, and the performances that we put out, I think we can be really, really pleased.
Yeah, it's such a massive statement that England netball made by putting on that World Cup. How pleased are you with how the whole tournament went, Tracy?
I think England netball did an exceptional job. My dream was always to be in a stadium full of red and white, and we got our wishes day in, day out with the team. I think the most important thing for me was the way the team integrated into the competition, and they come away with so much respect. I think it's hard when sport is so brutal, and obviously the best team went on to win. However, there was never a day that this team ever woke up and didn't want to win. And you talk about belief and confidence, and I feel that we totally got rid of the fear factor from our camp over that particular 4-year cycle, and we'd put the fear on other people, and that was really pleasing to see. And I feel that can escalate going forward.
Yeah, well, you've got a well-earned break now. You know, I know a part of you wishes you were out in
People
South
keep
Africa.
telling me it's not going to be a break, Tamsin.
No, it's not. Well, yeah, speaking of break, somebody's had a bit of a sleepless night, but she's looking glorious and glamorous. Tamsin, I hope Casey Jacks wasn't up too much in the night.
that this is my break. This is why I'm here now.
Well, let's turn our attention, back to England and how they played yesterday. What's your assessment of those, I shouldn't say 60 minutes, what was 74 minutes yesterday?
We finally got extra time. Wow, what a game. I think picking up from Tracy's point, and this is what's great about a culture and how it moves forward, the confidence that team had to go on and win in extra time. They never looked like they were going to lose when they got to that point, which is really exceptional considering a lot of those players weren't at World Cup. But it's almost sort of bred into that team now that they can beat the top teams. They know how to finish off games. Defensively, we were excellent. Fran Williams, a real standout. Her partnership with Stacey Francis. I think for me, it was the attack end that got static at times. I'm not sure the changes necessarily worked for us. And full play to South Africa as well. Fair play to them because the changes they made were incredible.
Well, you mentioned their defence. Ebony, I'll go to you because your positions, I'm sure you were watching with an eagle eye yesterday. Stacey and Fran, that combination, what's your thoughts on them both?
I thought they played exceptionally well. I think they really grew into the game. They got a hold of Lenise Pogita, who was actually South Africa's main weapon. I think the third quarter, it kind of stunned them a little bit in terms of the change with Radaman. And I'm obviously with the lineup coming up today, I think they're really going to have to consider how they're going to tackle that goal attack in order to try and stop that flow going into the attacking circle. But a pleasing start. Yeah. It'll be good to see what they do in the first half and maybe some changes we can expect in the second.
Tracy, your thoughts on that defensive end?
Exceptional. I thought Fran Williams made the match-winning intercept, and you saw how she grew in that Uganda series, and this African style is something that she absolutely flourishes in. She's a gritter, she's hard work, she wears down the goal attack, and I feel that she's one that will progress for the future because what she does is, because she does such a good job on that goal attack out the front, she enables other players to be able to sight what's going and limit the options that are coming through. And yeah, but I think she is going to be one for the future, and it's so exciting to see a youngster come through that.
Well, Stacey Francis is back in the fold for the first time since 2017, and Caroline Barker recently caught up with her.
What's it like, sat in the England environment? Has it felt like you've never been away, or...?
It definitely feels like I've been away, but there's also a really nice comfort of being back as well. It's fantastic. I'm really loving the vibe amongst the girls. Obviously, change of coach, change of leadership, and I'm excited to be challenged and pushed and learn more and kind of re-establish myself in the team, really.
So was that what you weren't feeling back in 2017?
Yeah, I think I felt quite conflicted in that environment. There were things that didn't align with my values as a person. I'm incredibly stubborn and I wasn't happy, and ultimately I was taking up a space and an opportunity that I didn't appreciate and that I knew that somebody else would, and it just wasn't an environment that was bringing out the best in me or making me challenged, and I also wasn't being the best person in that environment as well, and I spent a lot of time feeling frustrated and angry and often dreading the thought of coming into the England environment, and that's just not, for me, the way it should be when you're representing your country. So I was happy to step away knowing that I had an environment that I felt challenged in and where I was thriving at West Coast Fever, with the possibility of not necessarily putting on a red dress again.
But then to be away from it and seeing them achieve everything, was that a lot of you thinking, well, I must be wrong then? It's, if they are still achieving, if they are getting everything right?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. I think the team winning gold at Commonwealth Games was a fantastic test as to whether I felt like I made the right choice, and I obviously sat back as a spectator like everybody else, and I just felt happiness for the girls that were there. I didn't feel like it should have been me, or that I missed out, or that I should have been a part of that team, because when I was in that team I didn't feel a part of that team, and I think it was a great test to know that it was the right decision for me, because removing myself from that environment, I didn't feel conflicted, and I also didn't feel bitter about the fact that they were continuing to achieve without my being there.
So skip forward for me then. At what point did you think, I might give this another go, or did it happen the other way? Did they approach you?
It kind of wasn't really on my radar, But the possibility of working with Jess again was definitely a really exciting one, but also knowing that my capacity to improve is still there, and my willingness to learn and expose myself to new opportunities and environments, and also put myself out on a limb a little bit. Like, although I've played for England before, it doesn't necessarily mean that I would be welcomed back. I'm being given a chance. A selection for one Test series does not a legacy make, and I'm eager to prove that I'm back where I've always deserved to be.
Tracy, a player that played under you, she spoke, you know, it was a tough time for her and she felt very frustrated. Did you see that frustration when she was under your wing?
Yeah, definitely. I think she's pretty fair in her assessment of what she said on there. The leadership team, it's very difficult for players who come in and out of the environments. The leadership group have obviously set the standards and the values and the behaviours, and it's difficult if you're feeling frustrated with some of them levels that have been set by the particular group. For me, I never felt at one point that Stacey wasn't supportive of England netball, and I'm so excited that under a new leadership she can find her way back into the team and wear that red dress again. And I thought she was one of our consistent players yesterday and really enabled the other youngsters to flourish.
Are you happy to see her back, Ebony? A bit of competition for you?
It is a bit of competition, but I am thrilled that she's back. I think I've got a long-standing relationship with Stacey, having played with her at Team Bath. So I think she's been along the journey not only of England netball, not only in the last 2 years, but she's been a member of the England team for the last 12. So for her to be comfortable with her decision to take a hiatus, step away, but still support the team members who were in the team and actually still celebrate with us when we won gold is a fantastic thing in terms of how she is as an individual. So I'm just glad she's now got her opportunity to wear the red dress again and hopefully make her mark in this legacy that we're continuing to build.
And Tamsin, much needed experience for this England Roses side?
Yeah, definitely. And I said when Thirlby announced the squad that it was a statement squad. And I think we saw that yesterday with the players that she brought into the game by putting Laura Malcolm onto wing attack and picking players like Nat Panagari, having Stacey Francis, Kate Shimon on the bench. So you have got a few youngsters in there, but it was a safe squad in terms of the players that have not got necessarily international experience, but a lot of experience at Super League and more time on their side. And that showed yesterday. Fran Williams had said how much she enjoyed playing with Stacey Francis. Fran was on fire because of the work of Stacey behind her and because of what Nat Panagari and Jay Clark did out in front. They worked tirelessly to stop the front cuts and drives, to keep them up high and wide, and it just allowed those two to play the game that they want to play.
Yeah, some amazing symbiotic relationships going on court yesterday. Well, not long until our second game starts. The first centre pass at 1 o'clock, and the South African fans are arriving at the Belleville Velodrome in Cape Town. They're pumped, they're ready for this one. The England team are arriving at the velodrome in Cape Town. A really quick turnaround. They got a police escort back to the hotel yesterday. They needed to get as much sleep as possible. There is Bongi Msomi. Which position will she play in today? And Direct Badenhorst, the new head coach of the South African side. The first centre pass in just about 10 minutes' time. Now, out at the velodrome is our very own Caroline Barker, and she's in the changing room. Over to you, Caroline.
Afternoon, Di. Afternoon, Lady E, Lady T. I'll curtsy for you as well. Now, you all know that being part of an England team is being part of a family. And where's the home of the family? The dressing room. So exclusive access while they're out on court. This is where it all happens. We have the new members of the family. Of course, we talked a lot about that in the run-up to this Cape Town test. Good news is no injuries ahead of this second test after that extra time. But Jade Clark, after her 170th cap, I mean, I could be cruel here and say she's the grandma of the family, rocking in the corner. She is far from that. But she's been part of this, and she says that this current England team have stood on the shoulders of those who have gone before, even though quite a few of them have had some pretty dodgy hairstyles. That's what's gone on. This, though, is an important test, another important test, the 60th meeting between England and South Africa. And this, for the coaches, could be a winner-takes-all.
And we've never had dodgy hairstyles in the studio, have we? My goodness, I've had my day, I really have. The 60th meeting, it's a monumental day. Ebony, how do the England players cope with such a quick turnaround? As a player, how do you deal with that?
It is tough. It really is tough, and especially when you go to extra time like they did yesterday in the first test. I was like, brace yourself, ladies.
Yeah. Ice bath needed, probably.
Exactly, and I think it's now a fundamental part of being an athlete. You go home, you have to get in the recovery shakes nice and quickly, you have to do the ice bath, you have to stretch down appropriately because the turnaround is so quick. I just think the girls will just go into this match fresh head, don't think about the tiredness and just focus on what they have to do and how they're going to execute it.
And I'm sure they've had a great team talk from their head coach, Jess Thirlby, who we can hear from right now, speaking to Caroline Barker.
Jess, we've just been in your dressing room having a little look around, and everything, that whole family ethos, it's all about that too. So how much did you need that last night just to get everyone's legs going again, just to all pull together?
Yeah, I mean, obviously when we got back yesterday, it was all about rest and recovery. With the extra time, we didn't plan for that particularly, so everyone knows the tight turnaround between these matches and it's a great challenge for us. But the girls have been well rested. We've had a really good video session this morning. The girls have been at the post, back at the hotel. So we've used the time really well, but most importantly, just to rest up and then tactically just consider anything that came up yesterday that we want to implement today.
Which has resulted in one change in your starting seven. Talk us through it.
So Laura Malcolm will start at wing defence today. You saw her enter the game at wing attack, so she can play in both positions there, which is really useful to the team. We're very mindful that we did go into extra time yesterday, and also we do have these options available to us. So we're kind of putting a lineup back out there that's very similar, see if they can capture some of the key learnings that we've spoken about and give Laura that opportunity on the wing D where she's been training very well.
She's been training very well in that wing D position. Are you happy to see her there, Tracy?
Yeah, definitely. I think if you look at the percentage court time that she's had over the particular season at Super League, it's probably the most familiar position where she'll gain more confidence. And I think Nat Panagari and Jade Clark did an excellent job in respect to tying the wing attack centre down yesterday. However, I do think there were opportunities where we needed probably to get more ball across that 2/3 line, which they're hoping that Laura may be able to inject today.
Tamsin, your thoughts on this lineup?
Very strong squad again, isn't it? So you've not got your youngsters on the court yet. I'm guessing they'll be hoping to be up at half-time to give sort of Drakeford Lewis, maybe Fisher, Kwashi an opportunity. I'm happy to see Laura Malcolm back in wing defence, and I actually think that's a big confidence call for her as well. You know, it wasn't ideal her coming on at wing attack yesterday. I don't think that attack end getting stuck was all down to that. I think the problem was Nat Haythornthwaite is your out-and-out wing attack team, and by taking her out of that position, that playmaker, we did get very static going into that attack, and we were having to play it back a lot. And Nat really didn't penetrate the circle as we've seen her do before. So I think a big confidence call from Thirlby for Malcolm. I'm pleased she's done that because she'll want to go out today, Laura, and have a really strong game, and she'll feel very confident there.
OK, let's move on to the South African side and hear from their head coach, Direct Badenhorst.
Am I right in saying that you didn't know it could go to extra time yesterday? How has that scuppered things for you, changed things for you?
assume you shouldn't make assumptions and think that if you play test series that it shouldn't go to extra time, but the rules were in the manual, so my manager knew, but I didn't know about it. So I think it's tough on the players playing extra time, especially if you have 3 games within 24 hours from each other. Yeah, I think that's a little bit tough on the players and not thinking about them. But yes, we need to set our goals for the next one. We need to make sure we manage our players well because the recovery time is really short for them.
Yeah, I saw them shaking hands at the end and thought, they don't know they go to extra time. That's done then. Has that changed your thought process? Because you made a change in that circle with Rademan coming in.
Yes, you know, it's all about experience, a little bit of speed. It's a chance that you're taking. She's a youngster, but I think she's really doing brilliant on that goal attack, and she will grow with every international game that she's playing. So I think she's got a future, and I need to really work hard on her. And I think the senior players just need to back her a little bit. But yeah, we're going to start with her today, and let's see how she do on court today.
Okay, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Tracy, do you sometimes have to read the handbook because you don't know the rules?
Do you know what? I had Colette Thompson on the bench, who was absolutely integral. That was one of her major roles, to ensure that the coming series to read the manual.
You make sure that I know what I'm doing, basically.
Exactly. But to be honest, it's not often you see an extra time with the quad series now and test series. You don't generally see extra time in test series. They normally, say, right, that's a draw. And then see how the other 2 pan out, and then go to the last series where they would go to the extra time. So it was quite new.
A bit of unknown territory.
In my 4 years, we've never experienced it. We've obviously experienced it in a quad series, but never in a 3 test series. So, and with Dorette, obviously Badenhorst coming in for the first time, you can understand her naivety around that, and she was pretty shocked as she was yesterday.
Check the handbook, quick. Unknown territory, but great for all our Sky Sports viewers last night. An extra 14 minutes of quality netball. Let's have a look at the South African side. And Tamsin, I know you've got quite a few views on this team. What do you make of the setup?
Well, Rademan yesterday was absolutely incredible. And I talked a little bit yesterday about it's harder for an attacking player to come on and make an impact. Well, she certainly made an impact yesterday. How she opened up that circle, she was absolutely fearless. Shooting kind of went through stages, but you'd understand that as a youngster coming in. I think she partnered Potkita really, really well. And I'm looking forward to seeing if she can back it up today, because England will have done their homework.
And that defensive end of Mweni and van der Merwe, what did you make of them yesterday?
They were relentless yesterday. I think I was really impressed with Shadeen van der Merwe. She was on absolutely everything. She went for ball. She got some key turnovers for South Africa. I think their downfall yesterday was that they couldn't convert the turnover that the defence were actually picking up. So I know South Africa will be looking at that today in terms of their conversion. But again, our attacking lineup will have to try and outwit Mweni and van der Merwe, because at the moment I felt that they got getting quite on top of our attack. So something to look at in today's game.
It's going to be a great battle between Shadeen and Kadeen, goal defence, goal attack. Looking forward to that. Well, not long to go, and the girls are warming up out at the Velodrome. South Africa ready, wanting to win this one to make it 1-1 heading into tomorrow. What can the Roses produce? Can they make it 2 from 2? Laura Malcolm's on good form. We'll see you in a couple of minutes. Welcome to the second test live from Cape Town. It's South Africa against England. If you're joining us for the first time, England victorious in last night's game, 63-58. And this is the second game. The lineup for South Africa is as follows. Ebony Asura-Brown and Tracy Neville in the studio with me. Strength in depth in that side, Tracy.
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing that Dorette Bardenhouse, I thought, did create a little bit of instability in that South African team. I think if you look at the way Norma Plummer played, she had a style and a way to play. And if you look at Shawani at that wing defence, I think with her in the wing defence, Griesel and obviously Masomi, I think she's creating a little bit of stability across that centre court because they're going to the tall centre, which Erin Bergen offered them. However, I think I would like to have flipped Griesel and Masomi because I think Griesel, you know, implementation as a wing attack is absolutely exceptional, and I think she will grow.
Well, Ebony, this is an opportunity in this series to try players in positions that may not be their first choice.
It is. But in the same sense, you still want to instill confidence within the team, and you want the players to feel settled going into a particular quarter. They're confident in those combinations, and then introduce some of the younger, inexperienced players at appropriate times in and around experienced players.
And I felt that yesterday, Stoltz, you know, not really a key player on international scene, only at Fast Five, and she just became an offloader. You know, if you look at where Mariah was so strong within that goal attack is that she took the pressure off Potgieter, and that's something that Stoltz didn't do. As soon as she got the ball, she wanted to offload it, and that created a lot of pressure on Potgieter to get the ball, which Rademan helped by coming in and being a real threat in that circle.
OK, we're just about ready. Let's get straight over to commentary and join our team, Simi Mtaka and Caroline Barker.
Absolutely. Listen, this game is massive for South Africa. They don't have a choice. They have to win. It's one of those games because we want to go in tomorrow's final match on a draw and then start this competition from scratch. But I'll put it on the Spa Proteas.
3 p.m. local time here at the Belleville Velodrome. Exhausting was how one fan described yesterday. Just don't ask the players. 1 o'clock back home in the UK. And it'll be South Africa with the first centre pass. And this is the second match of the 3-match series. England 1 up. Can they take this one to take the series, or will South Africa take us to a decider on Sunday? Already quick into the circle. South Africa coach was asking for more drive, saying more urgency, driving through the middle to really cut England apart.
Yeah, I thought Rome Drea did that exceptionally well yesterday, but we know that Izette Grissel also comes through with a lot of experience, and I think that certainly explains you know, the introduction of Grissel on centre, looking for those drive, and I think just the connection, you know, from the defenders through to the shooters.
All well and good driving. Sometimes you've got to take the handbrake off, and it's England, though, that get that first goal. Ellie Cardwell, Manchester Thunder player in the Super League, just been a real rock, so steady and trying to prove her worth. One of a number of players who stood out for the Roses and Jess Thirlby's side yesterday. Centre pass for South Africa. Shawani and Somi combining. Van der Merwe, who was player of the match yesterday, as Grizel, one of those changes.
Yeah, she did had a superb, I think, run yesterday against the English Roses, and she'll be looking to pick up from where she left off. I thought she made a massive contribution defensively for the Spa Proteas.
I mean, we talk a lot about Rademan. How many caps did she get during the Africa Cup? That's a cruel one for me to throw at you, but that was her debut for South Africa. This is the first time we've seen them go head-to-head, and never mind about that, because it's the defensive engine that's working for South Africa at the moment.
They seem to have, you know, fine-tuned, I think, their combination with Maweni and Van der Merwe, because there were a lot of, I think, questions about Miss and Carla Pretorius, but really I have to give credit to these two players because I think they've stepped up.
And that is Rademan, the little step in. Oh, and it was her soft feet, the quick movement that really made her stand out from that third quarter on yesterday. 2-2. Quickly tied up, eh?
Yeah, that's exactly what we want in the beginning stages, but
not towards the end for extra time.
Definitely not. Listen, I cannot take any more anxiety given how yesterday's games transpired. We need a result at the end of that 60 minutes.
The voice of Simi Mtaka. You can get involved too on social media. Use the hashtag #SSSupersport or @SkyNetBall. Ah, that was simple. simple looks good, right?
Yeah, it certainly does, and does take the Spark Proteas on a lead. They did start off slowly in this match, but it's good to see that they're fighting and they definitely looking, I think, to seal this one in the early stages of the game.
Oh, good back up from Kadeen Corbin.
South Africa.
That's easier said than done, isn't it? You just, that physical strength that South Africa have in that circle.
Centre third.
A little bit of confusion there. Umpire signaling that it is in the centre third, but Shasha doesn't want to go over the transverse line.
Goal defence. Goal defence. You're out.
There's Haythornthwaite, England captain. Good movement from Corbin again. And Kadeen Corbin, maybe with something to prove. She was put on the bench during yesterday's game, but come out again like yesterday, just with that real cylinder.
Yeah, she's quite a phenomenal player, I think, with a lot of talent and flair, you know, that she brings into the shooting circle of the English Roses. But I did feel that, you know, her concentration might have dipped a little bit, so it was a good call by the coach to make a couple of changes in that circle. It did definitely work for the English Roses.
Contact on the ball.
Rademan will have another go. She was adjusting all the way around that post, finding her range, takes a little lean back. Again, just pops out. Nearly every one of those was going in yesterday.
Contact on defence.
It's a good option there by Wongim Somi.
There's the next generation of netballers watching on from the side. And that's how much this will mean the World Cup going to be here. I mean, personally, I'm not a huge fan of the Vuvuzelas, but that's mainly because I'm almost deaf in one ear, and it might take out the other. But I'd happily come here and hear them again. Oh, just too much. She had to keep that one on.
Yeah, there was a good attempt there by Cardwell, but a little bit overcooked. But it is an opportunity for the Spark Proteas, and I think we're all looking in on them to see if they're able to capitalize on this one.
What's here? Advantage moving off, advantage structure, wing attack.
So this, and again we saw this a bit yesterday, each team putting a run of 2 goals on, but that was key.
Yeah, it certainly was. But I think what's also working well for both teams, I think defensively at least, is that all 7 players, just the transition from attack to defense is superb. I mean, there was a great steal there by Jade Clark, putting England back on the run to look to capitalize on this one.
Contact on defence, back with her. Next to the goal defence, yes.
They stand together. Cardwell steps forward, the lovely little layoff, that one won't count.
Back with her.
Everyone's got a musical stats shoes, haven't they?
South Africa.
Strong bench from England, options. Jess Thirlby, the coach, saying that this is the high-level netball, so you've got to try and not make too many substitutions. You want to try and fix those combinations. That was beautiful. Rademan again. Thought she was going to go for the one-hand shot then, and maybe that little bit of hesitation gives England that opportunity.
Yeah, I think she could have taken that one, but perhaps looking to place herself close to the goalpost. But I mean, that's good work there by Francis.
England.
Stacey Francis with a 68th cap for England after that couple of years break.
No, that's I want to say a rookie error, but you absolutely cannot leave Cardwell on her own, because she will punish you. That's exactly what she's done there.
But that was the speed, wasn't it, though, as well, of just England moving and shifting that ball.
Yeah, I just don't think, you know, we can afford to leave any players unmarked at this level, because to your point, she's got the speed, and leaving that whole circle open is really, really asking for trouble.
Just under 8 minutes of this first quarter to go. England with a 2-goal advantage. They won the first and second quarters in that first test, lost the third quarter to South Africa, all tied up at the end of the fourth, and we went into extra time. Pogita, again, uncharacteristic from her in these early stages.
Yeah, I think what's concerning Caroline, just the beginning stages of this game, is how much ball's been turned in the shooting third of the Spark Coaches.
There you go.
Yeah.
And the other in two.
That's well done. That's an exceptional intercept there from Van der Merwe.
Obstruction. Obstruction. Yes.
It's a much better piece of play from the Spark Proteas.
So tight, this game. England one up in the series. Both these sides will go head-to-head again in January in the Nations Cup. And we heard Bongi and Somi talking beforehand about this is what it's about. The pride of winning at home, yes, but showing you can go into that tournament in the new year and contend with England, with New Zealand and Jamaica.
Obstruction keeper.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one, definitely, for the Spark Proteas. I think, you know, given what a tough year we've had against the English Roses, there's the pride. There's, you know, that also notion of we actually want to show that we can compete and come out victorious against this side.
Just too much on that from Choeni. Timmy, can you see differences in the setup from yesterday? What tactically the coaches have changed overnight?
I think, I mean, if I just look at Izette Grissel and Kanyisa Chawane starting in that mid-court, they're definitely much more solid from a defensive perspective. You had a Romy Dre, I think, who was more on the attacking side, very instrumental. But today, it's almost as if they want to shut down the attacking you know, force of the English Roses, and that's what Grissel and Kanyisa Chawane bring to the table.
Oh, there was a wipeout in that circle. Williams went down on one knee, no proposals, and South Africa make it 7-8. Look at that look from Lise Pogita then. Quizzical. What more can they do?
Oh, that's a brilliant one. That's great take there. But that was set up by Grissel before Rademan picked it up. And that's the power I'm talking about in terms of this defensive unit, you know, that's being brought forward in today's game by the Spark Proteas.
Guess what? 8-8. We're all level again.
I'm not happy. I'm so nervous about how this game is turning out because that extra time is creeping the way things are going.
Oh, look at that. A back bend, the lean. Such a shame, all that great agility that couldn't stay in South African hands. Now Malcolm has it. Captain Haythornthwaite comes out for it, looking for options. Great defensive work again. And Clark, 171st cap to Haythornthwaite. Back into Kadeen Corbin.
Well, that's good hands there between Haythornthwaite and Corbin.
Real sense of urgency from England. 45th cap for Nat Haythornthwaite. England captain, of course. This captaincy new to her. How much space do you want in that circle?
Caroline, you cannot leave that circle open, and we've seen just how well Cardwell, you know, capitalized on that. Every time Phumza just steps out of it, she's happy. She's at an oyster. That's exactly what she wants.
Is patient from South Africa. Important not to panic. Wait for that gap, wait for that space, the pass to arrive, and then it comes on.
Yeah, and I think if they just continue playing like that, you know, just safe passes, look for the open player, and just don't rush it to that circle. It works well for the Spark Proteas. They need to continue on that path.
Oh, goal for goal, straining every single muscle.
Phumza did well there because she actually shut Cardwell down and didn't allow her to get close to the goalpost. So I thought that was cleverly played by Maweni.
Former 7 stars, Loughborough Lightning, Phumza Maweni. Made her debut back in 2014 against Scotland. Real experience for her. There's Msomi. Oh! I mean, that was so soft in the hands, the release then, the transition through, liquid.
Yep, great appreciation right here at the Velodrome. And that's exactly what we're hoping to see from the Spa Proteas.
Holding wings. Both using goal to stay on side at the centre pass.
Laura Malcolm called up for that one, and Somi just slightly into Pogita.
I'll tell you this, I was really impressed by Malcolm. She played wing attack yesterday, but she had such flair on the attack and defensive side. So I'm not surprised that she's starting off in wing defense today to possibly match up Somi on the attacking side, because I think that's where the fireworks are probably going to be coming on as far as the mid-court's concerned.
I think they're all over court at the moment, aren't they? Back level again. Uh, 2.5 minutes of this first quarter. Oh, see, when there is so much great pressure being put on across court, sometimes the head goes a little. Now England's chance.
Offside, advantage contact, wing defence.
Simi, you played. It's so important in those moments. You're going to get so many more moments like that, aren't you? You just got to let that one go.
Yeah, definitely. It is part of the game. So you let it go. But I think what's important is how quickly you recover, you know, from a moment like that. And that's what's crucial ultimately. It's how you bounce back from those errors.
If you have a look behind, we saw the England players warming up on the bikes, and just behind as well. They're applauding that one. They thought that one was in before it even left her hands. That's the trust that they have in Cardwell. Now South Africa looking to respond again. Grisel and Pogita came out to try and help drive the team forward.
It's a setup well executed by the English Roses. They're just not giving the Spa Proteas any room whatsoever. And it's almost like there's heightened intensity in that defensive third of the English Roses.
Set the trap up and they came into it. Corbin just getting a little closer to the post. The fly comes in from Van der Merwe. Great timing from Kadeen Corbin. Now all of a sudden, England with that little, the smallest of gaps opens up.
Cardwell does it again. She's left unmarked in the circle, and it's too easy. Every time there's no defender in that circle, she's literally, you know, at her element.
Well, we're looking for points of difference from yesterday. If South Africa can get this ball down quickly, transition quickly, and ultimately get the goal and make it 12-15, then guess what? Press repeat on yesterday's game. The end of the first quarter yesterday, exactly the same score. Corbin.
I don't think I like where this is going.
Oh, well, it might. Cardwell, can she beat the whistle? Hooter's gone. She'll get the chance at the shots.
Yes.
I love a bit of symmetry. She's about to break that. Cardwell then puts the extra goal on for England. Yesterday, of course, we saw South Africa come back and tie it up at the end of the 4 quarters. But it's England with that 4-goal lead. They've been level pegging throughout. But England 16-12 at the end of just the first quarter.
Energy, enthusiasm, competition at the highest level. England against South Africa, the second match, and the score after the first 15 minutes. England leading 16-12. I'm here with Tracy and Ebony. Tracy, your assessment of those first 50 minutes?
Yeah, I just look at the attacking end. I think they've got a lot of fluidity. If I were looking at improvements going into that second quarter, I'd like to look at ways how we can put Ellie Cardwell more one-on-one against Pumza. I think she's doing an excellent job when she's in that situation, and that will mean a little bit more creativity from Kadeen, you know, to do a little bit more on that goal defence, keep her interested, get her away from the post or the circle at the moment where that 2-on-1 is a little bit of a struggle when our centre court land on the edge of the circle.
Ebony, your thoughts?
It was a bit topsy-turvy in the first quarter. I think both teams were wrestling in terms of trying to gain control of the quarter itself, but England looked to have settled first, which is really pleasing to see. I think, like Tracy said, I think more movement in that attacking end will really assist them going into the second quarter.
Defensively, South Africa have been pretty strong in that defensive end, Ebony. I know a few times you were saying, my goodness, that's pretty good.
Yeah, they have been really strong quite defensively. I think they've come on and they've challenged quite early on. We saw a couple of misses under the post early on. However, again, I think it's just taken England a little bit of time just to work out what they need to do to get the better of South Africa. But so we should be really interested going into the second quarter.
OK, let's get straight back to commentary. The second quarter coming up.
Simeon Tucker alongside me. Any changes that you spot? I spot a very tall one, Ziggy Burger.
Yeah, that's quite a surprising one. Burger and Shooter and Potgieter and goal attack. It's going to be quite interesting to see how those two fare in this quarter.
Centre pass for South Africa, getting us underway in this second quarter. Live on Super Sports, Sky Sports and on YouTube. Simeon Tucker alongside me. The change from South Africa then with Ziggy Burger. Familiar to many back home in the UK.
No, it's contact, but it's an advantage.
Off to play with Sam Bird at Pulse for the coming season. Calls England her second home, so she has that goal shooter bib on.
Yeah, we don't see Potgieter on goal attack a lot. Or often, so it's good to to see that Dorrit Badenhorst is exploring this combination. So far so good for the Spar Proteas.
Haythornthwaite, quick combination with Corbin. That Haythornthwaite who moved to that goal attack position in the latter stages of the game yesterday. That three so settled for that England attacking unit. As Potgieter come out of that circle on the move.
12 picked up there by Grissel. Still a little bit messy in that shooting third of the Spar Proteas, but I suppose Burger just trying to settle in and the team trying to adjust to the changes that have been made.
Oh, and if they can get some joy the other end. Khadija Chirani, who's again one of those players who will be playing in the Super League, but England with that ball in hand. Clark on the edge of the circle. Great movement off the body from Cardwell, creating her own space and popping another in.
Yeah, she's been quite impressive with a great, I think, conversion rate. Just demonstrating her ability in terms of that, I think, quite a high goal shooting percentage. Oh, that's good pressure there from Williams and Francis, just shutting down the Spar Proteas, and that resulted in that throw-in.
Oh, what was that? I mean, I'm not expecting you to explain it.
I mean, after such a phenomenal, I think, performance put up by those two, just to hand it over, to the Spar Proteas, it's almost like, yeah, you can have it.
Wow. I was about to say maybe there's hope for me, but there's not, clearly. These things happen. It's how you react to game. Great splits from Burger. She's got the height in that circle. She's been working with Sam Bird, with Vicky Wilson, and when you talk to Ziggy Burger, she says this is the best that she's been playing. But there's another moment Oh, great agility from Corbin to make that still happen.
Yeah, certainly. She's such an athletic player and really is incredible, I think, on the attacking side in the shooting circle of the Roses.
Possession, goal attack, possession.
She wasn't letting that ball go, was she?
Not a chance.
Contact with the body, fine. The side keeper. South Africa.
Oh, that's a pressured pass there. So we're looking for support in Van der Merwe. But I mean, look at this setup. All the English Roses marking their players man-to-man.
Yeah, Ziggy Berger went on a run. And she was taken all the way. But good again from her. She's playing with her shoulders back. She's playing with a bit of confidence too.
Yeah, and she's anchoring, Caroline. You know, she's marking a territory and she's making it visibly clear to the team where she wants the ball. And I think she's doing that so well. Jake Clark working tirelessly there in that shooting third.
Fine.
She always plays, and that's the experience, isn't it? You know, the head clock that's there, playing right on the edge of the 3 seconds, and making sure she's there just in case she needs to make amends for her team. It's got a bit congested in there.
Yeah, totally. And she did well there, so I think again just signals, you know, how much precision is required in this game from both teams, especially after such an incredible steal.
Berger, again, plenty to think about in that circle now for England. But that difficulty of readjusting in game.
Yeah, and I wanted to say that, you know, what's working for the Spark Poachers, when it's one-on-one with Berger in the circle, they just give it, and it works. And I mean, that's what the Spark Poachers need to capitalize on.
Now, some of this might be some tiredness as well. I know we're in the second quarter, but after all that went yesterday, it feels like perhaps get some tension out of those legs as well. Now South Africa come again. Great work in both these sides defensively, forcing the ball. You've got to have some great core if you're going to try and get that ball, haven't you?
Yeah, certainly, but I think she got away there thanks to the contact from Corbin. But yeah, you would need to have lots of balance and a very strong core to be able to balance from that.
Ziggy Berger at 194 centimetres. So she's got 14 centimetres on Francis and on Williams as well. She's got 6 on her. It's just really that height at the moment and that reach and also that physicality of Ziggy Berger that's telling.
Yeah, and I wanted to say, you know, there was a point where, you know, just having height advantage was good enough, but that's not the case anymore, given the physicality and how this game has just advanced over the years. That's a good one. It's a good comeback by the Spark Proteas.
Contact wing, goal third. Further over. Damage centre instruction.
Haythorne play.
Goalkeeper instruction on the edge.
Now we're seeing that goal for goal, but it was that 3-goal run from South Africa that's put that pressure back on. Important goal for Cardwell.
South Africa.
And rarely in doubt at the moment from Ellie Cardwell when she's got ball in hand.
Oh, there's a double block set up on Mongim Somi.
Whole time.
I think she's shocked. Sigurberger still shocked by that piece of play, but
I think we're going to see a change from England. Just off shot, we saw Fran Williams make a sign to the umpire, and a change is going to happen. And it's Kwashi that's coming on, Raz Kwashi, just 22 years old, 186 centimetres. Mavericks player as well, and we wondered whether something would happen. So Fran Williams goes off to the bench, Stacey Francis to goal defence,
No, they've just changed positions.
and Kwashi on at goalkeeper.
They've just changed positions. Yeah, lady, sorry.
So that's quite interesting because Potgieter moved to goal attack, I think, away from Francis, but they're matching up again.
Now here's a little bit of the umpires just making a change. So all the bib changing has happened, right? All the changes have happened, but because the umpire called time for wiping the floor, they've got to go back off. No bluffing. I can tell you right about now, I've got a feeling that England are going to make a change.
We don't know what's wrong.
But they're going to have to wait. Right, so prepare for an England change. Kwashi's got 1 foot over the advertising hoardings.
Contact, no, wing attack.
Oh, that's unfortunate there for Wangin Somi.
So now Fran Williams has gone back to the umpire. She's made the sign that she wants to make a change. So all the changes that we saw happen before are about to happen. There's Somi then just asking for a bit of contact, saying that happened before. I can't believe that, Bongi Somi.
Where you are, wait for the whistle, please.
Right, the change has now happened. We've got a dry floor and we've got a new combination at defensive end. There's the mobility of Stacey Francis, goal defence, those quick balls, 1, 2, 3 from England. Chawani, great to read that though.
Yeah, that was a great deflection from Chawani though, trying to just break the flow of the English Roses, but it's just too quick. It's really unstoppable, these attacking side of the English Roses.
Contact centre. Obstruction, goalkeeper, back arm. No.
So much body on body. Cardwell riding it at the moment. And this to pull the lead out to 3 again.
Yeah, it's amazing what just a 1 turnover, can do to the scoreboard. At some point, the Spark Proteas are trailing by 1, but just that 1 turn has put the English Roses back up on a 3 or 4 goal lead this time.
South Africa.
Just shows the consistent level though of both these sides. Half-time score yesterday was 23-28, but it's now 20-24. England with a 4-goal lead.
Whip here. Yes. Contact leg.
That's well set up there. Potgieter opts to play to Siggy Burger, much closer to the goalpost.
So it takes a while just for that new defensive end to settle, but Raz Kwashi is just her 7th cap for England. Another of those on the full-time Roses programme. Simi, you two, another advocate of clearly having a full-time programme here in South Africa, but can see physicality-wise how that helps, and just particularly when you get into moments like extra time, how you can have that full game.
Yeah, it's crucial, and I think we always have to train not just for the 60 minutes, but for these players to be able to play in preparation for those instances. And you could see a difference between the two sides. I think England probably much more prepared.
Oh, there's another Van der Merwe player of the match yesterday, trying to add a second to her wings. Now what can South Africa do? Potgieter, just too much over the top. And that was a replay ball from Kwashi. That's so difficult in that situation. You don't want to not touch it because they'll have it. You don't want to touch it because they'll have it. Either way, South Africa with the ball.
Yeah, it is a tough one. I mean, if the ball came blitzering down court, and Kwashi did the best she could under the circumstances, but I mean, congrats to Shasha van der Merwe, because that was a great intercept for the Spark Proteas, and that's the value she brings to this team.
Now the heads are up for South Africa.
That is contact offside wing.
Siggy's just too good in terms of anchoring in that shooting circle. It makes it difficult for the defenders to come around.
Back to a goal. Already South Africa up their first half score, and now they've got a chance to draw themselves level. Someone excited?
Listen, I'm just excited by this great game of netball. I have to always have an objective hat, even though my heart is pounding, for the Spark Proteas. But it is a great display of netball nonetheless.
South Africa looking to tie it up. England knowing that, and look at just how far they're making them come across court. Great defensive work again from England.
Absolutely, they just, on standby, waiting their anticipation of those passes, and I think their timing defensively has been impeccable.
It's so easy to go through, take the player with you, but England clean at the moment. And just when the crowd sensed it, just when Simi sensed it, just when everyone was up on their toes again, There's one just to take a little bit of the venom out from England.
It's good support there from Van Merwe. The English Roses have set it up. They're forcing the Spa Proteas to play that extra pass to the back players.
She's got the moody teenager look on, Ziggy Berger. She wasn't quite sure about that call. Unorthodox pass then, but England still have it.
Oh, that's unfortunate. The contact called against Jade Clark. So it does go in favour of the Spa Proteas. I think they were also surprised.
Did you see my face then? Still, South Africa try and get it, and Somi backs up well for Berger.
Oh, that's brilliant piece of play there from Potgieter. And Siggy actually did well there. She set it up because she drove away from where the action was taking place, drawing Kwashi with her, and that opened up quite nicely for Potgieter. Mawene called out for holding. I have to say, I mean, physically, I think this game has toned down a notch yesterday, compared to yesterday.
I was going to say, I'm not going out there.
So certainly, I think, you know, both teams have probably, you know, tried to correct because it was quite a tight and I think a physical clash. So this looks much, I think, much more in line with expectations.
Yeah, penalties stood out like a beacon yesterday, didn't they?
Yeah.
But as we approach the last minute and a half of this quarter, of this half, South Africa found themselves 5 goals down at the break yesterday. 2 at the moment and back to 1. Definite improvement from those first 2 quarters. Not that there needed much improvement from yesterday.
Yeah, definitely is an improvement, you know, as far as the scoreboard is concerned. But I think, again, Direct just still, you know, exploring those combinations. And this one with Siggy Berger certainly looking good. It is something different compared to what Rademan brought in the first quarter.
The Cape Town noise goes up another notch as England put another goal on. 40 seconds of this half remaining. 2 goals the difference. Big goal this would be for South Africa, just to tighten that gap again. Reminder, they won that 3rd quarter yesterday. Oh, they get the call. They get the call.
Yeah, that's a lucky streak there. I thought Potgieter released too quickly, but Spa Proteas do get the benefit.
So yesterday, as we approached that final whistle, England played around perhaps too much. Now South Africa looking to keep them out. Kadeen Corbin with it. She'll shoot from here, and Corbin again just shutting out that noise around her. England restore that 2-goal lead. South Africa have no time left on the clock, and it's England who go in. It's narrower than it was yesterday, but a lead is a lead. They're ahead at the break. South Africa 27, England 29.
So 30 minutes gone of this second match, and my goodness, we're seeing it all out on court at the Belleville Velodrome in Cape Town. England victorious yesterday. Where will this match go? It's anyone's right now. Incredibly tight. We've seen fantastic action from both sides. Cardwell on form for the Roses. Brilliant intercept from Laura Malcolm there. A sellout as well, just like yesterday. I'm here with Tracy Neville and Ebony Asura-Brown. Tracy, what did you see from that second quarter?
I actually think we come out of the first quarter really, really well. I think we progressed the game forward. I think, again, it's that inexperience, familiarity. So they're quite familiar with each other, but with the inexperience, the pressure, the consistency of keep putting out their basic skills is just being a little bit exposed through that South African defence, which, you know, the ball placement is just not quite where they want it. There was some opportunities where I think they could have just got the ball into circle the first time and they're just holding on to it. And that is a little bit of pressure, a little bit of tiredness, and also the pressure and the setup that the South African defence is doing against our attack.
Yeah, we've got an example of the South African circle defence, which we can look at, Ebony. And how do you assess this?
I think South Africa played really smartly, especially moving from the first to the second quarter. We see a turnover here quite high up the court. And what's quite noticeable is the level of patience that they have today in terms of making sure they're keeping possession as they're progressing down the court. But I think earlier on I spoke about the importance of that goal attack in terms of creating space at the top of the circle so the ball can actually be fed into that goal shooter. And I think at the moment our England defence are struggling a little bit as to who to mark and when to mark them, which is actually opening up the backspace for the goal shooter.
Yeah. England Roses, Ellie Cardwell, she was a player that you've admired for many years, and you're seeing her now in the international fold. How's she getting on in that goal shooter position?
Yeah, me and Ebony said she was a little bit of an unsung hero yesterday. I think she created huge stability, and as soon as I saw her get her first shot in, we talked about her one-on-one hold, and look at here, Kadeen taking that front drive into the circle and allowing that backspace to open up, and also getting ball early into her. And we just, at times, we lost a little bit of confidence of that because some of our ball placement to Ellie in them positions was just not quite on sync. So it actually went off the back line, which then creates a little bit of hesitancy in the centre court. However, I do feel now that with, you know, Natalie and Jade, with a few conversations, I think that space will open up. But I do predict that we might see some changes in that attacking end.
OK, so you'd be making changes if you were head coach out there?
As a fan, probably not, because, you know, they have created consistency through that first half. As a coach, differently, you saw Jess Thirlby had so much belief in her players the other day to see out that game yesterday. And you know, there's George Fisher on the bench who's made a huge impact, been waiting for that opportunity to come onto court. And I think she's the first one probably I'd like to see injected into that goal shooter position. And that is not in any way undermining Ellie Cardwell. But, you know, what can she offer? She plays the front space very, very well. And against Moani, that is something that shooter needs to do.
Yeah, well, this is what we've been talking about yesterday and today. This is a real opportunity for Jess to get players on court for a period of time. It's that the amount of time is crucial, though, isn't it, to a player? Because you don't want to be on for 5-10 minutes. You kind of want a good chunk, a decent chunk of time to prove your worth.
You do want a good chunk, because you're starting to feel your way into the game. You're starting to see what the lie of the land is, and then you're trying to excel. So I agree with Tracy. I'd love to see George Fisher in that goal shooter position. I think Ellie has been a strong target for us. But in terms of the combination between Kadeen and George that we often see at Hertfordshire Mavericks, I think it could have quite an impact in this attacking end. But it was wonderful to see Raz enter the game. I think she had a tough task with Siggy Berger in the back there. Not as connected as Fran Williams and Stacey Francis. So I wonder if we might also see a change there going into the second half.
So we've got Razia Kwashi coming on as goalkeeper and Stacey Francis moving to that goal defence position. That combo, obviously, these combinations, they do take time to gel. But when we've seen Stacey Francis impressing so well with Fran Williams as goal defence, we're obviously going to compare. And we've got Kate Simmons on the bench too. It's a nice conundrum to have, Tracy.
Yeah, I think we saw it a little bit yesterday with Laura Malcolm, and I think Tamsin highlighted it about the staticness in attack. When a new player goes on, the first thing they're trying to do is make an impression and start to get. You're talking from club to international. The pace of the game is so much greater. So when Laura come on, she did the basic rookie mistakes. She held onto a ball a little bit too long. You don't get a second chance at international. You have to be able to release the ball. She played safety netball. She kept going back to the line, going again, and not actually gaining ground. However, I think leaving her on till that second quarter and extra time, she started to flourish and started to get a little bit settled. Likewise, when Raz come on in that first quarter, she got a little bit stuck on body. And now, if I was to match anyone up against Siggy Berge, it would be Raz Quashie. She's an absolute dynamite in that, she comes through late for intercepts, but at the moment she's not quite finding her space. But I hope they do leave her on going into this third quarter, because we're in the first year of the cycle, and I know Raz will learn from that. She's a very, very intelligent defender, and obviously with the support of Kat Ratnapala on the bench and Jess, I do think she'll learn from that experience of going on and then coming on. And being thrown on in a quarter is probably difficult as well for a rookie.
Yeah, it's a difficult time to come onto court. So many good defenders, Ebony, out there at the moment.
There are.
We're observing. We're looking forward to seeing you in an England Roses dress next year, just taking a little bit of time out. OK, the third quarter coming up of this second game out in South Africa. It is England-South Africa, and it's so tight. Stay with us. To bring you right up to date, the second match, and England are just out in front, 29-27 against South Africa. Here with Tracy and Ebony. Tracy, what do you hope to see from this third quarter?
Obviously, we've talked about the changes that we'd like to see. We're first year of cycle and getting the experience out there and the new combinations. The second thing I would like to see is we're a little bit hesitant on that ball. I think getting our flow back, getting them drives to the circle, getting that feed in. And I feel I would really like to see that Francis and Quashie combination really start to cement. I think it is a one for the future. And, it would be really nice to be settled in there.
Well, we see George Fisher has come on, so changes have been made. Let's get straight to commentary and see what happens in this third quarter.
In just a moment. Plenty, though, to think about for Jess Thirlby and Kat Ratnapala on that England bench. From here in Cape Town to back home in the UK on Sky Sports, Super Sport across South Africa and YouTube around the world. We're heading into the third quarter of South Africa, England, and just the 2 goals in it. England lead at the break, 29-27. Simeon Tucker alongside me, and changes for both sides. England bringing on George Fisher at that goal shoot position, but it's footwork called against Kadeen Corbin. She's got maybe an interested expression on her face, but changes for South Africa too, Simon.
Yeah, changes for both teams. I think it's great to see Fisher stepping up for Cardwell. There was a lot of pressure, I think, Phumza Moweni put in that shooting circle. But I still thought that Cardwell did well, but it's going to be great to see how Fisher steps up in that goal shooting position. And then for the Spa approaches, Bongi Msomi sets this one out. We absolutely enjoyed, what Rome Dreyer brought on the attacking side for the Spa Proteas, and I think that's what's been missing in the first half. So hopefully you can get that connector or that linker between the defenders and shooters with Rome Dreyer on centre.
Yeah, it was Rademan who was punished with Ziggy Berger coming on, but just seeing those changes maybe through court for South Africa and the impact that Dreyer will have.
Oh, that's
again,
yeah. She's going to be disappointed with herself. I mean, those are 2 errors, that could cost England. Stepping error and now a line-breaking error. She does have to clean up a bit.
There's Razi Kwashi, who we saw come on at the end of that last quarter in that circle, matching up well with Ziggy Berger.
Well, that's a good ball there from Grissel, straight to Ziggy Berger.
I'd say Grisdale's one of those players internationally that you look at and think she should be in that starting 7 every week.
Definitely, Caroline, she's such a strong and I think well-conditioned player. She just brings a different dynamic on court, completely unfazed. You can go after her consistently. She won't, fall for that.
Yeah, George Fisher, from head to toes, a little bit different. You'll see some character from her. I think she's got her LeBron shoes on as well, up the other end. Anyway, concentration on that South Africa attacking end. And there is the South Africa 1995 World Cup squad watching on.
Yeah, and what they've done is, for some of their teammates that couldn't physically be here this afternoon, they've brought a sneaker to represent them, that they are here in spirit, they are supporting their Spa Proteas, but I think it's such a great or special, relationships amongst those players to be able to still connect, 24 years later.
Talking of sneakers, there are the basketball trainers that George Fisher's wearing.
That is instruction, wing attack.
That's a beauty there, well read by Grissel, and just a great understanding between these 2 players is incredible.
32-all, Malcolm and Clark.
This is actually quite interesting. It almost feels as if, both teams have dropped the intensity just one notch, that they're playing with a little bit more cautious ness on court. I think just playing it safe, bring that ball down, no quick passes, just slow it down a bit.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful feed in, gratefully received from Ziggy Berger, but all that hard work done outside the circle. Proper tussle. Oh, and now the footwork call.
Yeah, there's been a couple of those calls against the English Roses, unfortunately. But
not that you'd know it. No reaction from the coaches. Internalizing that one. That one's hurting.
They have to. They absolutely have to, because if we had to hear what they were saying, with these errors, it wouldn't be pretty at all.
They were down at the first quarter. They were down at half-time. South Africa, like they did yesterday, go ahead in the third. 3 in the run of goals, and that's where the issues are. Van der Merwe and Polgita, sensing it. There's the experience Francis does well. Great intercept.
She's got such an incredible, I think, quite a high work rate, Francis.
George Fisher came out for it again. Offers, great take. Fisher with a settler. There you go. Just one more word on those shoes. They're part of the Equality Series with LeBron James too. And I know that George Fisher spoke quite a lot on social media about the work of Colin Kaepernick, and just seeing those shoes too on that court here in South Africa. And Fisher puts another goal away.
She's quite impressive. I haven't seen Phumza be able to counter her as yet, so I'm still waiting to see how she's able to adapt, you know, to the introduction of Fisher, because she's doing so well in terms of defending her space and using her feet, you know, to get close to the goalpost. But I don't think the Spark Proteas have an answer as yet.
How calm was that from England, with South Africa sneaking ahead? How impressive has Fisher been since she's come on court? It's won the Super League. George Fisher went with Wasps, now with Saracens Mavericks in 2019. Her father's also a bit of a snappy dresser. You can often pick him out in the crowd. He loves a good hat.
Yeah.
Oh, I won't like that one though. Van der Merwe accepts it. Every time either of these sides just feel like they get themselves in front, something happens and the others come back.
It's good patience coming from the Spark Proteas. They're swinging the ball right across the court. I think making full use of the breadth of the court and just confuse, you know, trying to break away from the defenders. It is working, and they are rewarded with an additional point. There's the patience again. Oh, that's good work there.
She's so calm, isn't she?
I think in this third quarter, Caroline, it becomes so critical, you know, to kind of hold back a bit and just do the basics and execute those exceptionally well. Come fourth quarter, they give it everything they've got, and this is looking like a game plan well executed.
Well, we said tactically how both teams would handle overnight, the pressure of overnight. Fisher, fresh legs. She didn't experience that extra time yesterday. That's telling at the moment. But key players like Dreyer, who was so instrumental for South Africa, has had a little rest to start with early on, and just the impact they're now making off the bench.
Oh, that's a... Oh, unfortunately, stepping error for Segeberger. Oh, she'll be disappointed with that one. And England returns the favour.
No. I mean, I was talking about great hats. There was another.
Yes, thank you.
Step in, the fake shot, little pass, and Berger, without a care in the world, takes them level again.
It's a good setup there by Van der Merwe and Maweni, closing them in.
See, that was interesting because Fisher was an option earlier. They didn't go for it, and that gave time for the defence just to rearrange. There was a little bit of a wobble on that post, but that didn't matter, did it? Giselle. Polkita having to do a lot of work outside of that circle now. Simeon Tucker alongside me, former South Africa player, and been impressed, I mean, just how, for both these sides actually, it's so easy when you go behind just to let that get to you, but the resilience from both.
Yeah, it's not an easy task, Caroline, I have to say, but fully agree with you in that regard. Both teams not seemingly faced by the scoreboard, but just able to stay in the game and fight all the way. And I think that talks just to the mental ability of both teams. So that really has been, I think, quite inspirational to see from both sides.
Oh, good vision from Haythornthwaite. England captain into George Fisher.
South Africa!
I still don't think the Spark Proteas have an answer to Fisher as yet. She's dominating that circle. She's dictating where she wants to go, how she wants to play on court.
Oh, and look at that. The ball straight into Kwashi. And we've seen a couple of those, but South Africa look like they've just drilled some of those errors out of their game.
Oh, that's good defense there. The Spark Proteas forcing the English Roses to play back and reset, but it's good work there by Corbin.
And great elasticity. Easy for me to say with 4 of my false teeth in, but just in that ability just to go quickly and pull it one to the other and get going. And now South Africa, that's key, that's important. Berger was ready for it, but umpire doesn't want it. Oh dear.
Yeah, I think that's gonna hurt the Spark Proteas. It was such an important steal there, but not able to close off.
Wow. So, England 40-38 up. And I keep telling you the reflections on yesterday, but South Africa won the third quarter yesterday and were 40-39 up. And it is just the similar nature of these calls. If we wondered if the legs would be gone after extra time, just shows actually, oh, it might be the mind.
That was superb defense. It started in the center third. They forced England to stay there, and well executed by the Spark Proteas.
Wow, back to another goal. Dreyer. And this, you get the feeling, could be key for South Africa, and that's why that hand-in was so important. Clark now has it. And Francis, it's just got all a little bit sloppy.
But this is the difference as well. The English side is playing short passes into the space, and they'll play as many balls as they need to get to the shooting circle. Whereas the Spark Proteas, it's almost as if they're playing these long-range passes, which, I mean, it's an easy meal for the English Roses defensively.
And as Fisher puts this shot up, she'll take the applause of the bench over to one side. And you can see warming up over there as well. A couple of the England players with bibs on. We might see some changes for them heading into that final quarter.
I wanted to say, I don't even think there's an if about Fisher, taking those shots. I mean, she's had quite an impressive accuracy rate and just conversion since she took the responsibility from Cardwell.
Now South Africa again. I've seen that goal open up. Great teamwork, England defensively. South Africa will have another go. Knocking at the door. The settle from Potgieter. No.
Just shoot.
Wasn't happy.
She must take it. I think Potgieter is in a range, where she could take that shot quite comfortably, but she opted to play out.
She's got such a sweet shot as well. Little man, big heart, cheering on South Africa at the moment. Haythornthwaite and Fisher. That a combination well known from Wasps.
South Africa!
As she might smile too, 100%. Brilliant introduction into this series from George Fisher. Van der Merwe, what answers can South Africa find now?
Wing obstruction. Contact.
Oh, that's unfortunate there. But it was well read by Stacey Francis, but just slightly off timing. She's so good with those diagonal passes.
Well, Berger was directing traffic and said where she wanted it. Still have the ball, South Africa.
With the keeper.
Would you make changes? Semi, you want to see some changes off the bench or positional changes for South Africa?
I would reintroduce Rademan, to be honest, and take Potgieter back I think on the shooting position, I mean, Siga's doing so well with a 100% conversion rate, but I do think that they're missing that linker, you know, which is kind of what Rademan brings to the table.
Oh, George Fisher. I thought that one was going in. She does like a shot from distance, but South Africa could be big for them. Last few seconds, they won't have time, surely, to get down the other end. Nope. No doing. Well, it was the quarter that we often call the championship this side, as South Africa won it yesterday, but this day it goes to England. 2 goals the lead as they head into that final quarter. South Africa 41, England 43.
South Africa.
Well, it was 14 apiece in that last quarter, the third quarter. At the moment, England are leading by just 2 goals, 43-41. It was a pretty much same scenario last night when they were playing, and yesterday they finished 51-51 after 60 minutes. Went into extra time. If you are joining us for the first time, England victorious yesterday. They're wanting to win this second match. Tracy, that third quarter, we saw it all, and we saw quite a few errors from both sides.
Yeah, uncharacteristic, we'd like to say, from a South African and an English side. However, I think the injection of George Fisher was a great decision by Thirlby. I think she offered a little bit more. She's great on that front space, but she also had that variation of being able to move along that baseline, but also offer the back space as well. So we talk about with a shooter, it's just not over often the one, but you can got the second move and the third move. And I think George at the moment has got that 1 and 2 move, and internationally, as they get more experience, that'll start to come.
And do you think South Africa don't really know how to handle her right now?
I think, yeah, she's an unknown at international level. I think the defenders are not sure whether to drop back on her, but as we've seen, with obviously Jade and Nat Haythornthwaite out in front of her, they're still confident to feed George that ball, and she's actually playing onto the non-defensive side, which is a really good skill for a shooter to be able to do, and George is implementing that really well for them to be able to get that ball over. So at the moment, I think they do need to change the game, South Africa, because what they need to start doing is limiting the amount of feeds that are coming into George at the moment.
Do both sides, Ebony, need to clean things up a little bit?
I think they do, actually. I think you can definitely tell there's some tired legs out there, and I think that's actually leading into some poor decision-making. We've seen a number of errors in terms of the ball changing possession quite frequently. So I think it's just about maintaining composure, and I think hopefully the coaches will be saying that to the teams in this three-quarter times, because I think that will going to make the difference going into this fourth quarter as to who can settle, be composed, and actually execute their possession from one end to the other.
Yeah, we've spoken over the last couple of days about the mixture of experience and youth in both of these sides. More youth in the England Roses side. 9 of the 15 of the training squad for the South African side were in the World Cup, and just got 4 girls from the Roses who have come from the World Cup to here. So great to see new faces. How will the fourth quarter unfold? Let's get back to the game. They've started it. Back to commentary.
I wanted to say I'm not surprised that she comes back in again, because sure that Jess wants to close off on a high by bringing them in after, you know, 1 quarter's break, because they want to close it off in this fourth quarter. So it's a good tactic. I'll give it that to Jess Thirlby.
Structure wing attack. Contact.
And for the Spa Proteas, Bongim Somi reclaims her wing attack position. And again, such an important player. So it is Christel that sits this one out on wing attack.
Guide instruction.
Naris Williams, bronze medal winner for England at that World Cup, and Haythornthwaite, her captain, combining with Corbin,
That is contact.
who stayed on for these
That is
4
contact,
quarters.
wing.
The change in that circle has been with George Fisher.
Contact.
And Corbin pops another through.
Breaking wing defence.
Oh, that's good work there. Bongim Somi actually,
Yes.
you know, acted as if she's coming out for the centre pass, and I think that sent Panagari over the line, but a little bit too early.
Not letting England away,
That is
pinning them
breaking
back
ball
again.
attack. Offside
Good
wing,
work
inside.
defensively by the
It's
Spa
inside the circle in
Proteas.
front of the wing. It's inside. On the ball.
Yeah, Fisher doesn't miss.
Tick-tock. She's just a little crick of the neck too. Contender for one of your... I mean, we went early with the player of the match yesterday. And still had another 7, then another 7.
Yeah, there's quite a few players, I think, you know, that are definitely putting their hands up, just gauging by the performance so far.
Panagari on that wing defence position for England. Potgieter, step in. Needs the confidence of this shot? No. To Berger. Simi, would you have liked... I know it's the same result ends up, but Potgieter to put that one through.
Yeah, I would have, definitely. I think she's a player that's more than capable of taking those shots from that perspective. So I'm not sure what's going on at this stage, but it could also be a case of, you know, keeping Siggy in the game as well. I mean, she had a 100% conversion rate at the end of the third quarter, so perhaps she's much more accurate at this stage.
Contact wing defence.
Oh, quick ball in. Well, Corbin swung that around in her hands, waited for the delivery to come through.
Contacts in a row now. That's a caution, okay?
And the first caution given.
That is breaking wing defence.
Thought we'd see one yesterday, actually, and we didn't. So the caution given today.
Yep, that's to Kanyisa Chawane for persistent contact, and umpire just saying to her, you know, it's a 3rd time, so she does need to tidy it up.
She's very clear in her instruction. Hands in from England. They were forced into that.
Yeah, so got to give credit to the English Roses. Defensively, they created that. But that's well picked up there by Fisher. I think Fisher certainly be the game changer, you know, as far as that shooting circle is concerned for England.
We might see another change for England. There's been some instruction down on the bench of shot, but for the moment, and that one just bobbled over for Fisher. And that's because of all that was happening in front of her too.
So England have actually scored on the back of a Spa Proteas centre pass, and that's all it takes, 1 turnover. And it looks like the Spa Proteas could return the favour here.
I wonder if Fisher maybe just in that last passage of play, there was a lot of contact in that circle. Just maybe put her off for a shot a bit, but try now defensively to get that ball back for England. South Africa, though, need that patient build-up. A couple of times I saw them with a loose ball in that first half. Oh, the turn from Potgieter. Then the lovely little lay-off in to Berger. And the centre pass. This for a chance to get it back within 1 again.
Oh, that's a great setup there. Bongim Somi had 2 defenders on her. She pulled them away, but set up an overlay for Potgieter to receive that centre pass. I thought that was cleverly done.
46 goals from 49 attempts. I talked Berger into that one. I was just about to say how brilliant South Africa have been in that circle.
Well, she'll get a second chance. And it does count, yeah.
Right, time called. Now, we saw that caution against Chouane. And it looks like she's going to head off.
Yeah, she does.
Wise move.
It is a good move. I mean, if you've already been issued with a warning, you don't want to run the risk of, you know, playing with 6 players at any point. So it is the right call by the head coach by bringing Monique Reyneke. And immediately you can see the benefits with a great steal from the Spa Proteas.
Somi, contact in there with Panagari. She ended up on her backside. And Somi's great centre of gravity. She's going nowhere. She sticks to that core. And now Bongyam Somi, South Africa captain. 1, 2, 3, look around. Can't deliver the ball, but Francis gets it. Well, South Africa needed a little something, and that change has happened. And the ball through, and have a look at the score.
I'm looking away deliberately because I absolutely cannot take this game. It has just been, you know, living up to what we expected yesterday. I'm still not convinced we're going to go to extra time, Caroline.
We're going to have a little wipe up on the court. We thought maybe there might be a change for England, but everyone sat down and settled on that bench. Things too tight now. South Africa making that change. England with everything as it's been. Simi, you're going to have that moment to calm down, and this is Pogita just having a little chat with her ball at the back, and Pogita really this heartbeat of the team, but just trying. I mean, you don't argue with that stare, do you, Simi?
No, definitely not. But I think she's really done well. Even just the transitions she's made from goal shooter to goalkeeper. From goal shooter to goal attack rather. But just her face, you know, the expression in her face is saying a lot at this stage in terms of her focus and just the fearlessness on court.
The voice of Simi Umtaka, South Africa player. Oh, they didn't need that one. Well played, England. Williams and Corbin. Corbin looks once, twice, through net. Back to one, and the centre pass. This is how quickly this level of netball can change. England can put a 2-goal run on. South Africa now putting that wall in front of them. Haythorne break.
Just step forward, one.
They were closing in.
Yeah, definitely. Fisher just too good on her feet. You know, if she's shut down, she changes her feet and creates more options for the attackers. And I think that's so, you know, it's great to see such intelligent
George Fisher. Another one through for England, the 50 up. 2 goals the difference.
That is contact,
It was Erin Berger, who's just retired from the Spa national team.
I mean, I wouldn't come and watch it. How could you sit in the stands when all this is happening in front of you? I know you're finding it hard to sit on your hands, but for Erin Berger, knowing she could have been out there.
She probably wants to put her sneakers on and jump in there. What a great steal there.
They could do with her now. And here come England again.
Yeah, defensively, England has certainly, I think, you know, been charged up in the dying stages of this quarter.
Contact centre. Fine there, centre the side. Centre. Contact on the ball.
And Karine Corbin makes it South Africa 48, England 51.
Contact centre in the back. Centre.
Clark with her bib swaying in the breeze of Cape Town. Looking for options. Out to Haythornthwaite, from one captain to the former captain. And now into Corbin. Just over the top, but there's that wingspan of George Fisher. Keeps the ball on court for England. Approaching the 5.5-minute mark. England 1 up in this series. this for an unassailable 2-0 lead. Takes an age, but through.
South Africa.
4 goals now. I don't want to say it because we were in a similar position yesterday, but South Africa need now. This is the moment that bit of energy needs to come through.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at what's taken place, it's 2 intercepts that have put England where they are right now, because I think defensively they've just turned things up a notch, and it's definitely starting to make a difference for them. So the Spar approaches effectively need 2 intercepts, to get them back into this game, and it's not that easy when you're coming up against the English Roses. There's Fisher again with that lunge.
South Africa.
Just every time it just sucks a little bit of the atmosphere out here in Cape Town. Now they need the crowd around them. There's Berger. Oh, Ziggy Berger. Hard, tough. She's getting up. Just the check on the back of her head. I think. Yeah, I think took most of the reaction to that. She's all right. She's going to go and give it a wipe.
Dangerous play. You actually came up underneath her. It's a warning.
A warning for Stacey Francis.
Wait for my whistle.
And Potgieter with the ball through. And the 50 up then for South Africa. 4.5 minutes.
Damage centre obstruction. Damage offside centre.
And Fisher with that to put it back to 4. No, this is a big goal. Could be a big goal for George Fisher.
South Africa. Contact with defence. Yes. Going. Hold time. Contact. Where you are, shooter, step up with her.
There's Francis again. And this time, Stacey Francis gets the call. And Francis, that warning aside, she's been one of the players that's really stood out for England in this. A real contender for player of the match. And also the England captain, Nat Haythornthwaite. Again, calm and leading for the front. And then George Fisher, the impact she's made on court since coming on. For a long time, she stuck at 100%. Just a couple of wobbles from her. And as for South Africa, Ziggy Berger up the other side. And Berger, her introduction, it looks like South Africa will be the losing side, Simi, but Ziggy Berger too has come on and been impressive.
She really has. I mean, she made a wholesale difference in the shooting circle of the Spar Proteas, and I do think, they were pretty much toe-to-toe, except in just the last 5 or 6 minutes of this game, because Francis with Williams made a wholesale difference there.
Another brilliant passage of play, and it's difficult because South Africa, perhaps knowing how far they are behind, just how difficult it is be. But there is Ziggy Berger heading off court, and we'll see Rademan come back on court too.
Yeah, it's there's 2.5 minutes remaining, Caroline, in this game. I think it could be a little bit too late, to make this introduction.
Is that seems slightly unfair?
Centre, ball please.
I think it just could have been made a little bit sooner, and perhaps that's where, we could have seen the full value of having a Rademan on goal attack.
So this is another enforced change. What had happened is Potgieter on court, and there's some blood on her dress. And so everyone just checking where that blood's come from. And the ball as well, there's no blood on that ball. So you have to head off court if you've got blood on your dress too. So Potgieter goes off. I mean, they wouldn't have wanted that change if this is to come back. Well, Imari Venter, one of those players that would have gone to the World Cup with South Africa, but picking up that injury, and she was replaced by Ziggy Berger in that World Cup squad, but she's got real quality as well.
She certainly does, and it's great to see that she'll get some time on court. But Williams just, making things difficult for the Spa Proteas in that circle, as she has for the duration of the match.
2 minutes to pull it back. Surely too much for South Africa.
Sorry, goal defence.
It's almost got the polite applause status in the crowd, hasn't it? Bounce then, in from Haythornthwaite to Corbin. And there's George Fisher again.
Yeah, Fisher certainly made the difference for me in that shooting circle of England. And I don't think the Spa Proteas really had an answer to her onslaught in that circle.
Still they come though. South Africa. Well, the series will be beyond them and beyond the president of Netball South Africa, Cecilia Molokwane, in the crowd. But they've certainly stood up to England. This new combinations within this England team. South Africa, to much criticism, Simi, previously about whether the starting 7 was great, but whether the squad depth was there from South Africa. But we've seen some of those players step up from the bench and step up on court.
We have, definitely. I think there is a lot of depth in the side, but what's missing, I think, is just the close off, towards the end. They've been brilliant performance throughout, but I think, England did take it up one notch towards the end.
England going to win this one, but South Africa with ball in hand at the moment. Rademan just facing the might of Stacey Francis. Surely one of those who could have been player of the match today. Williams in there too, back on court as well. And there's Rademan, so impressive for South Africa yesterday. Too little, too late though for this South Africa side. As the clock counts down inside Cape Town, it's going to be England who take the victory as George Fisher plucks that one out of the air. And there goes the hooter. She'll be allowed to take it. That one though, will it count? Yes, George Fisher with a hug. She ends up with a match ball too. How impressive was she when she came on? It was those changes from Jess Thirlby ultimately that counted for this England Roses side. That's it. It's a series win for England in that first test under Thirlby. 2-0 they lead. We've got one more game to come, but England with the advantage. They can't be beaten here. South Africa 53, England 59.
And our third game is tomorrow morning, South Africa, England, 10:30 a.m. The slightly earlier time. We're available on Sky Sports Arena and Sky Sports Mix. So confirmation, England have won the series, but still excitement to come tomorrow. See what combinations will be put out on court. Stacey Francis, what a performance she put in. The girls congratulating each other. We'll be back out to Cape Town for all the interviews and analysis here in the studio after the break in a couple of minutes' time. Anthony Ruiz Jr. shocked Anthony Joshua and the boxing world back in June. The rematch simply had to happen. Will it be repeat or revenge? Live coverage from Saudi Arabia gets underway next Saturday, December the 7th, from 5 p.m. on Sky Sports Box Office. Sky customers go to channel 491 or Box Office to book this event. For more information on all the ways to watch, go to skysports.com/Joshua. Virgin Media and TalkTalk customers, please contact your operator. Can't wait for that one. Date for your diary, girls. England are victorious in South Africa today. It's 2-0 in the series. They've won the series. Tracy, Ebony, your thoughts on today's game? Ebony, over to you first.
I think England finished that game in such a classy fashion. I think they showed that they're the fitter, strongest team out there today. I thought the defensive combination at the end really allowed England to push forward. I think the reintroduction of Fran Williams really, settled the defensive team. They were able to come out with some critical turnover. Nat Panagari, I think the scores were level. She came through, got a winning intercept that we were able to convert, and I think that then led on to the push that England then had going into the last 5 minutes of that quarter. I think George Fisher, she was phenomenal today. I think the way she came into the game, she had such great impact. The way she was a strong target, she held firmly, and the likes of Natalie Haythornthwaite and Kadeen, I think, fed her beautifully. And I think for Kadeen Corbin, I thought she had a really good game today. I think we often question her consistency, but I think in terms of she shot well today, she created space for George and for Ellie. She combined well with Nat. So I'm really pleased to see her actually thriving. That is, hopefully in the third test we can see more of her, more of that kind of consistency and her play. But I think a pleasing performance for England. They'll be glad to get the series win.
Delighted, I would imagine.
Absolutely delighted. You can breathe.
First 2 games in charge.
Indeed, you can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief, but the job's not done. We've still got to see what they're going to produce in Test 3. But I think it's also, we questioned as to whether there could have been some interjections or some of the inexperienced players. We've talked about it being a development tour. So, again, good to see the likes of Raz enter the game, good to see the likes of George enter the game, and hopefully we'll see some of the rest of them tomorrow in Test 3.
What a remarkable analysis. That's fantastic. Thank you. In terms of, there were some errors, uncharacteristic errors, Tracy, from both sides, which we're going to take a quick look at now, which is, as we've said, we've alluded to the fact that they are to be expected when new combinations come together. But take a look at some of these.
Yeah, I think this was uncharacteristic to South Africa. If you look at the South Africa from the World Cup and obviously back in January, they would have completely took this game forward. We also had a problem with England as well, and maybe this was tiredness or a lack of understanding. They were all going onto one side of the court and not opening up the space. And, you talk about unfamiliarity and lack of experience, and that will obviously come. They weren't happening all the way through the game. They were just happening in patches. And for England, they can really build on that performance. And I have to say congratulations to Jess Thirlby. I think she had a really difficult job going into this series. She had a squad that...
Well, it's not easy to follow somebody like Tracy Neville, is it, Ebony? It's really not.
She's got a lot of experience at international level, and, yeah, I'm really proud that she's gone out there and won her first series, because I didn't actually win my first series for about a year and a half, so...
It's not an easy job.
She started well.
Well, you did a brilliant job and handed the reins over so well. There were some crucial intercepts, Tracy, that really turned the game. Let's take a look at some of the examples.
You talk about the match winner yesterday with Fran Williams, and I think this was the match winner from Natalie Panagari. She, nailed that intercept, and then it was followed up just after this by another Fran Williams intercept. And you talk about Francis out on that goal defence. At the moment she's providing that consistency, backing that keeper, being that real stalwart, that communicator. And them 2 intercepts for me were the game changers, and the one that actually said, yeah, we're now in control and we can really push on that. And with obviously George Fisher at the other end being able to finish that off, there was a surety that we were going to take that win today.
Yeah, lots of positives. Well, let's hear from the England captain right now, Nat Haythornthwaite. Let's hear her thoughts, what she has to say.
Yesterday we said tick, 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 captain, test win done, series win done, player of the match done.
I know, I think it's just, so fortunate and so grateful to be in this position amongst with so many other good girls. I think the girls did awesome out there. I thought Kadeen was incredibly controlled, and Stacey Francis in the back. Yeah, it's just so many good players out there today.
controlled is right. You pick out Kadeen. Sometimes maybe she's had those that have said sometimes she throws the ball, doesn't give it away, but has just been talking to you all about just those calm moments.
I think so, yeah, and especially Kadeen, she said that she's been working on that in the off-season and it's really obvious. I think, yeah, just playing with her back in Loughborough, she's just so controlled and she's just loving the game, and you see the emotion that she had today just because she's just so elated.
Clearly you're going to go for the clean sheet, right? All three, but did you think you'd be in this position?
No, well, obviously we came out to do that. We wanted to win back-to-back games, and there's another game tomorrow, and that's exactly what Jess has just said to us. We've got one more game to go, and we want to seal the deal and get all three done.
Barely sweating. Enjoy the night.
I'm sweating so bad.
Enjoy it, bye-bye.
We can't see it. You look great. Nat Haythornthwaite, how did she play, Ebony?
I thought she led by example. I think we called yesterday and said that her preferred and her best position is wing attack. And I think today, again, that level of consistency across the line, providing that safe option, safe hands, and I think she fed both shooters beautifully. It's really lovely to see her thriving in that captaincy role.
Deserving player of the match?
I think definitely so. I think there were quite a few, to be fair. I think she alluded to Kadeen, there was Stacey, there was George, and it's great that we have such a number because it shows that they're performing to their best, everyone's performing well. But definitely, I think player of the match to Nat today, well deserved, and hopefully that continues for her tomorrow.
OK, well, the player, the head coach of South Africa is with Caroline Barker. Let's hear from Dorette Badenhorst.
Dorette, clearly disappointment, but where was that lost?
Yeah, I think we didn't turn enough balls today. We struggled to just get that enough turnovers, and yeah, I think still a great game between the two great teams, and I'm not disappointed at all on their performance. But yes, we need to just stay in there. We get even, and then we just lose concentration, lose ball possession, and it's just that little bit extra that we need. That confidence, believing. It's as if they don't believe in themselves, and then we drop again in our position lost. But yeah, I think we just need to stay positive. I think there's a lot of youngsters on that court. I think there's a great future for us with these players, and we can just build from here.
So that confidence, clearly, I mean, we've seen Berger come out there, Ziggy Berger come out there with clear confidence too. How do you reset that for tomorrow and just forget about the series?
Yeah, I think it's important that these players are all playing to go in January to the Vitality Series. So I think it's for them important to still play great netball, and we don't want to lose 3-0 in this series. So we will come back hard. I think we still have the talent. I think we've got it to beat England, and they just need to believe in themselves. And we've got great players out there. It's maybe players that don't have the experience at this level, but just go out there and play good netball. We don't have the National League that England have, and I think it just shows that we need more games on this level and giving more players opportunity to play at the international level.
OK, Dorette, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We'd love to see more games on the international stage. She talked about belief. How do you create that belief, Tracy, in a team environment?
I think what Jess Thirlby showed, which I don't think Dorette Badenhorst did, was the confidence in her changes. I felt that Jess had a plan, and she implemented that really well, and the players were really clear about their role and responsibilities. I think, and that comes with time. And obviously, with the benefit of the full-time programme, Jess has been able to implement that time with the tour to Australia and New Zealand. And I feel that Dorette has not had that time with her players, and that has really been highlighted within this particular series. She's coming off the back of, a world-class coach in Norma Plummer, who was very set on the 7 that she had and the actual changes that were going to make an impact. And that is something that a coach needs to develop over this particular period. And, I've actually been in that same position as Dorette, where you're not understanding your players, you don't know which one will provide the benefit for you. So I do think we'll see a different South African team in that Nations Cup in January, because I do think that Dorette will go away and recognise the ones that can actually play the key roles within her team.
It's a learning curve for everybody right now, isn't it, with 2 new head coaches? Speaking about the other head coach, Jess Thirlby, she's with Caroline right now.
That was far from easy, right? Was that more impressive for you today than yesterday?
Yeah, the thing I'm actually most pleased with, and I know it's easy when you've come out with the outcome, but was actually the improved performance. I thought there was some great quick learning from last night into tonight. Yesterday was a real gutsy, gritty performance, but I thought today we were tactically a bit smarter, and that's what we spoke about overnight.
Inat Haythornthwaite said that in particular Cadine Corbin has been taking on board what you said about just being calm and maybe cutting out some of those errors.
Yeah, I thought Cadine had a much better performance this evening and she sustained that over the 60 minutes, so that's a real win for her. I thought the changes had great impact tonight. I thought Laura started in the wing defence position and really did a great job. She brings the ball through the court really nicely. It was great then to be able to switch that up near the end of the game with Nat Panagari coming back in. George Fisher, excellent entry, and Raz, you know, went out there as a bit of a baptism of fire. It's not easy playing against that combination, and I thought I even saw growth in her in the time that she had on court. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the improved performance and tactically just being a bit smarter this evening.
So what do you do tomorrow then? Because with the Series 1, do we see a debut for Kate Shipman? I mean, how do you adjust your thought on that?
Yeah, I think much the same in terms of my pre-match interview, really. There's a time and a place, and it's important to get the blend right. So I would like to think that I can test some other combinations again tomorrow, but this isn't about just entering everyone off the bench. You know, I really want to respect that third game performance. I've got a lot of things I want to get out of that, but hopefully you'll see a few more combos out there.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a delicate balance, isn't it, Ebony, getting it right? Would you like to see new combinations tomorrow?
I think a bit like today, I think emulating what Jess has just said, I'd love to see new combinations, but there is a time and a place for it. And I think what we saw today from the likes of Raz and the likes of George Fisher, when it works, it really works well. And they will be brimming with confidence from that. And I think the likes of Kate Shimon, she's a great defender, known in the Australian ranks. So it'll be really interesting to see what she can now bring to this England team. And the likes of Sophie Drakeford-Lewis, like I have the pleasure of playing with her at Team Bath, and she is an upcoming star, definitely one for the future. So it'll be good to see her in amongst those experienced players and actually seeing what she can do.
Well, the future seems very bright. There is a lot of sport coming away on Sky Sports, and let's bring you up to date with what's happening later on this evening. 9 o'clock, England are up against it against New Zealand. New Zealand 3-7-5 in their first innings. England currently 39 for 2. They're 3-3-6 behind. 9 o'clock on Sky Sports Cricket, and we are back tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. Sky Sports Arena and Mix. It's the third test. Quick prediction, Tracy, for tomorrow?
I do think England will go out and win. I think Jess will consolidate. This is her last international before Nations Cup, and she's got some huge selections to make in December. And it's not a pick and mix shop. You know, I think she'll consolidate and just inject when she feels the time is right.
Ladies, great to have you with me. We look forward to tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 10:30.
Sky Sports. Feel it all.